and I agreed that we never met a person who didn't like or respect Coach Hesselmeyer, and to us, that is a great compliment any man can receive. We are all here because we are all touched by Jeff in a profound way. To me, the mark of a great person is what you do for others and how good you make others feel. Jeff Hesselmeyer certainly met that profile. Thank you.
Playing for Coach Hess was an honor and a privilege. He had such a huge heart. One of the players on Coach's first team that he first coached, Chris Robinson, said recently, he was just a great guy. I'd like to extend my sincere condolences to Coach Hess's family and close friends, you know who you are, and to Coach Hess's sister Beth, who I just recently met, and I want to let you know that your brother was a hero of mine. This was a lot easier when I was writing it. Excuse me. To Chris Doherty, Doc, you're always there for him. And in our conversations that we had, he always thought of you as a son. In a recent conversation with Mike Taggart, he recalls, I wouldn't have made it through if it wasn't for Coach Hess. And many of us have had the same recollection or similar story to tell. Coach Hess was not a coach you had to play for. He was a coach you wanted to play for. You never wanted to play harder for another as you did for Hess. I'm a PE teacher, so I just made a list of things. I thought it'd be a lot easier up here. So these are some of the things that I know that I will miss about Coach Hesselmeyer. I'll miss his aviation glasses that he wore. I'll miss his corduroy shorts that he wore about mid-thigh. I'm going to miss his huge smile and his huge voice that went along with it. His 70s wardrobe was timeless, and story time was special because he could remember everything. His advice, his laugh, which was my personal favorite, the way he smacked his gum during Saturday morning films, his handshake and his big hug from up above. I'm going to miss those things about him. If you played for Coach Hess, that meant that you were one of his guys. And being one of his guys meant that you hit hard, you didn't complain, and you never quit. You also gave it all you got, and then some. San Marcos Royal football team of 2011, he didn't want to let you guys down. It was just the other day I saw you guys over at Bishop in a 7-on-7, and I had to pull myself away from him to attend to the team. That's how much he drew people near him. Just remember that you guys are his guys, and he is your biggest fan. The whole community will be cheering you guys on, including hundreds of former his guys. And in closing, I've been thinking about this. It might be kind of cheesy, but Coach Hesselmeyer charged into the coaching career at DP for 25 years. He moved north, he became a Santa Maria Saint. He then came home to our community, passed away while coaching at San Marcos High School, where he became football coaching royalty. God bless you, Coach Hess and Jenny.
I first met Hess 4 years ago. I sat in on his interview and remember two things. One, he was pretty old school, and after the interview, that everyone revered him as a football legend. Since that time, Hess and I worked side by side teaching PE. Hess was more than a coworker. He was a great friend and mentor. Walking into the office will never be the same. I always look forward to seeing Coach Hess. Part of working in the office with Hess was helping him on the computer. Nothing could stress him out more than the computer. It was very safe to say that Hess was not the most technological guy out there. A few years ago, some TAs would change the screensaver daily. He would get so upset every period, but it was so comical. This last year, for the first time, he got away from the paper records and created a gradebook on the computer with help from Mrs. Lozano. Hess was becoming very technological, yet still never wanted a cell phone. He always said that the cell phone meant people could always find you, and you would always be expected to answer. However, ironically, he never answered his home phone either without first letting the answering machine screen the calls. We would tell him that the cell phones have caller ID and would make life easier on him. He was asking a lot of questions about cell phones. And recently, as a department, we thought that we would get him an iPad, and it would be a surprise. To all his athletes, I can tell you that nothing would make Coach Hesselmeyer more proud than each player's eligibility to play football. Every day, Hess would check on athletes' eligibility. He was really good at this. However, it was always frustrated him when athletes did not take care of their studies. Hess really cared about all his athletes. He always wanted the best for each one of them. He would give the shirt off his back if it would help someone else out. I cannot tell you how many times I saw him take TAs to breakfast and give or buy food for kids. Hess took several athletes under his wing. While at San Marcos, one of those was Marcus Arredondo. Marcus passed away over a year ago in a tragic car accident. Hess told me he loved Marcus like a son. And when Marcus passed, it was very hard on Hess.
Hesselmeyer, the 2009-2010 season, and playing under Coach Hesselmeyer was by far the greatest experience that I've ever had in high school and in life in general. Getting to know him personally was such a blessing, and he taught me many lessons, and just many lessons in life and about manhood, and I carry all those lessons with me today. At the first look of Coach Hess, you might see his tough exterior and probably wearing those famous aviator glasses, all big, and he's but really, he's a big softy. You know, he's just a big teddy bear, and his heart is just the biggest, softest heart that I've ever seen in a man, and I really look up to him for that. And he always put his players first. He always put us first. He treated us like sons, always pouring everything he had into us, his time, his energy, his weekends, and I can truly say that he loved us and we loved him, just as he was our father and just as we were his sons. Henry Longfellow says, "When a great man dies, for years the light he leaves behind him lives on the paths of men." We should take the lessons that Coach Hess has taught us and carry them on. Coach Hess will be immortalized on the football fields of Santa Barbara and Goleta, and every Friday night for many years to come, when the lights of Valley Stadium or Scott O'Leary Field turn on for that game to be played, Hess's light will shine among the players and coaches, Royals and Chargers, for generations to come. Thank you, Coach Hess, for everything. Thank you for being there for us. I truly love you and miss you. Thank you and God bless.
Hess is looking down today and saying in that voice of his, "What are you guys doing to me? Just leave me alone," you know? And of course he'd add a couple more adjectives that we won't talk about here today. But that's the kind of person Jeff was. He did not want to bring attention to himself. It was always about the kids, and you've heard that over and over again. I tried to have a birthday party for him, and when he found out, he put a kibosh to that idea. Didn't even show up. Today, Jeff has no choice. Our community is here, gathered to show their appreciation, respect, and love for him. I ran into the legendary football coach, Lito Garcia, picking up my daughter at school. Lito told me, "If you can get Hesselmeyer at your school, you better do it." He went on to say that if he was coaching and the game was on the line with hardly any time remaining, there are two people he'd love to have with him. One is Pancho Renteria playing quarterback, and the other one is Jeff Hesselmeyer calling the plays. I also ran into former News Press writer Dan Shields, who covered prep sports for many years. He told me that in all the time that he covered the News Press, Jeff Hesselmeyer was the best football coach he ever covered. These comments from highly respected community members say a lot about Jeff's coaching. we were truly blessed to have Jeff here at San Marcos.
Jeff will always be remembered since he was such a profile at both of the schools and head coach at both schools. And it's my honor really today to tell you that during each San Marcos and Dos Pueblos game to follow next year and the years to come, there will be an MVP voted for the game in the name of a trophy to Jeff Hesselmeyer. It's really a great honor and so well deserved to such a good friend and coach.